Cindy, Terry, Maxine, and Dawn, better known as En Vogue, burst onto the music scene in 1990 as a modern-day American R&B girl group inspired by those of the 50s and 60s. However, these ladies took it to the next level, where all four possessed a powerful one-two punch of stunning good looks plus outstanding vocal abilities.
Four girls hand-picked, not just for their musical appeal, but for their marketing appeal as well. They're not supposed to just sound good, they're supposed to look good, too. The prefab formula obviously works. Designer bands including En Vogue are a mainstay on the charts these days. In fact, pleasing the eye as well as the ear may well be what 90s music is all about.
Yes, all four. This wasn't the typical situation where there's one lead and three backup singers. Here's the story of the funky divas who were born to sing. Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. This video is a retrospective on one of the best-selling girl groups of all time, En Vogue. The group was put together by record production and songwriting duo Denzel Foster and Thomas McElroy in Oakland, California after an extensive search and audition process. By August 1989, Cindy, Herron, Terry Ellis, Maxine Jones, and Dawn Robinson were chosen, the name En Vogue secured, and work began on their debut album. Born to Sing was released on April 3, 1990. The album produced four major singles including Lies, You Don't Have to Worry, and Don't Go. But it was their first single, Hold On, that put them on the map. Hold On also won them a Billboard Music Award, Soul Train Award, and garnered the group their first Grammy Award nomination for Best R&B Vocal Performance by a Duo or Group. After such a successful debut, En Vogue decided to team back up with Foster and McElroy for their second album, Funky Divas.
Funky Divas. We wanted to come up with a name that was really just different.
Funky Divas.
What we did was we looked up the word diva and it meant female vocalist, female lead vocalist in theater. And we all sing lead and our music is much more funkier this time around, so we said, okay, great.
Funky Divas was released in the spring of 1992 and went on to become twice as successful as Born to Sing. 5 singles were released off the album and they all became top 40 hits on the Billboard Hot 100. 3 of the 5, My Lovin', You're Never Gonna Get It, Giving Him Something He Can Feel, and Free Your Mind made it into the top 10. The album also won the group an American Music Award, 3 MTV Video Music Awards, and Soul Train's Entertainer of the Year Award, and of course, more Grammy Award nominations, 5 to be exact. They quickly followed up the success of Funky Divas with a 6-song EP called Runaway Love, released in the fall of 1993. It featured the title track and subsequent hit, Runaway Love. En Vogue was now everywhere. They received multiple endorsement deals and made many television appearances on some of the hottest shows like In Living Color, Hangin' with Mr. Cooper, and A Different World. Around this time, En Vogue also collaborated for the first time with the hip-hop group Salt and Peppa for their smash hit, What a Man. 3 years later, En Vogue recorded Don't Let Go, Love, for the soundtrack to the motion picture Set It Off. It went on to become the group's biggest hit to date, going #1 worldwide, and the catalyst for their next studio album. Even with all the success, there were behind-the-scenes issues that could not be ignored, and were about to come to a head. Robinson made the decision to leave the group when she wasn't able to come to an agreement on the group's contract. The move was so abrupt that the other 3 group members ended up having to re-record nearly the entire album since it was almost completed at the time of Robinson's departure. The aptly titled EV3, in reference to the quartet now becoming a trio, was released in June 1997. The album gave the group their highest first-week numbers ever, but it also received mixed reviews from critics in regards to the overall production. In addition to Don't Let Go, the album also spawned 2 other singles, Whatever and Too Gone Too Long, that did make it into the top 40. After the poor performance of their 4th album, Masterpiece, which also was a factor in being dropped from their label, Maxine Jones departed the group in 2001 to focus on her daughter. At this time, singer-songwriter Amanda Cole was brought in to join Terry Ellis and Cindy Herron, who wanted to continue performing. However, Cole didn't last long, and after only recording one holiday album with the group, she left due to feeling that she was unable to fully express herself vocally or creatively. Her departure left a spot open for singer and actress Rona Bennett, who joined the group in 2003. Cole and Bennett, along with original members Robinson and Jones, would float in and out of the group for years to come. The original lineup of En Vogue finally came together once again in 2008 to do a special girl group tribute at the BET Awards with other acts such as SWV and TLC. Their performance blew everyone away and started talks of the group making their reunion permanent. After they got a few more performances under their belt, an announcement was made about their 20th anniversary world tour to commemorate the release of their debut album, Born to Sing. The tour covered North America, Europe, and Japan. The following year, En Vogue performed at the Essence Music Festival, the largest African-American culture and music event in the United States. The comeback, however, was short-lived when the ladies could not reach an agreement they were all satisfied with. Robinson left once again in 2010, followed by Jones in 2011. In 2012, Robinson, along with Jones, spoke to Access Hollywood about the divide in the group, with her and Jones on one side and Herron and Ellis on the other, directly related to contract disputes and expectations placed on her that she just couldn't accept.
Dawn, you left the group in 1997.
97, yeah.
Now, this was really at the height of your fame, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Why did you leave?
There was a lot going on. It was like, we weren't making the kind of money that I thought we should make as the caliber of group that we were.
Right.
2 pennies per girl just to me was insane.
So you didn't like the deal that was cut?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, the deal
was really
from
bad.
The beginning. The first album was, you go in and you start and you don't know what kind of success you're going to have. And once you have that success, and we were at 3 times platinum on the first album.
It was time to go back in and renegotiate.
And we never did.
Yeah.
Right.
You didn't negotiate?
No,
we didn't.
No. So what we got on the first album, we got on the second album. And the second album was even bigger than the first, and we're still getting the same money. And it was ridiculous. So I was like, you start waking up to see things, you're looking at your royalty statements, you don't understand the language of the contract that you initially signed, because we're not attorneys. We don't go in knowing these things right away. We did ask questions of our attorney, but things get a little confusing, and by the time you wake up and understand what's going on, you've already signed the contract.
So were all the girls frustrated about the money?
No,
it was mainly Dawn and I. Yeah.
You said Cindy and Terry were
fine.
They were fine with it.
Yeah.
They really were. They didn't want to negotiate.
Right.
The producers had total control of the group. They put all of us together, so they were in control. And we did what they said.
Whatever said goes. For that, whatever they said went.
During the same interview, they also announced that the two of them were forming their own group called Heirs to the Throne. But sadly, the new group didn't last long, and the following year, they parted ways. Jones, along with 2 other singers, decided to try again and created a new group called En Vogue to the Max. Herron and Ellis ended up filing a lawsuit against Jones for the unauthorized use of the name En Vogue, and ultimately won, since as holders of the group's LLC, they therefore had exclusive rights to the name. Herron and Ellis did an interview in 2013 where they addressed the matter.
Ultimately, it boiled down to choice of management. And we were in disagreement. So Maxine, was being upset, decided to not come take any more shows. And a lot of offers were coming and going. And she wanted us to first iron out the management issues, but we couldn't get those ironed out in the meantime. We were still disagreeing about how to handle that part of the business. She got in touch with Dawn, or vice versa. But we believe she got in touch with Dawn, and then they started promoting, putting out there in the public that they were uniting to do another En Vogue. They had a group called En Vogue, Heirs to the Throne, and they started booking shows. Well, that's when the trademark name became an issue, because it's just not good business for the brand to have 2 touring En Vogues in the market, and ultimately it was affecting us getting work, because the promoters were like, "How do I know who I'm getting? And I don't want to hire any of y'all." And it was kind of like that. So then that became an issue. The name, the trademark name became an issue, and that's how it became an issue in arbitration, and ultimately the arbitrator decided, and the federal court confirmed it, that we would
you guys
be the sole owners of we would retain the name.
Issues between the ladies continued in 2014 when there was word of a Lifetime movie being made featuring En Vogue. Robinson threatened to sue the network since neither she nor Jones was part of it, and their marketing tactic was to make it appear to the public that they were. Herron and Ellis were the only original members, included plus Bennett. Robinson did an in-depth interview with UK-based Fubar Radio in 2017 to promote new music she was working on, but she also ended up speaking about what really happened between her and the other En Vogue group members and why she had no choice but to leave.
We were just in it, and it was so big, it happened so fast, we were catching up to our success. So we hit the ground running, but it was like catching up to everything. We have hits, and it was so fast that everything took off. We didn't really have a chance to recognize the fact that we weren't getting paid well. We only got two, and this is going to be in my book as well, but we only got paid 2 pennies per record.
Whoa.
So if a CD is $16.99, we got 2 cents of that, which would be 2 pence, I guess? 2 pence? Yeah, 2 cents in America. And it just blows me away. So we had the success and the fame, but we didn't have the monetary, the financial to back that up, where the record company had that because of us. He was paid well, or I should say she, because it was Sylvia Rohn was the head of the label, but she was, on the higher up, so she got paid well. And then, the producers got paid well, our manager got paid well, and everyone but us. I remember redlining, what they call red line. So you go through your contract and you underline everything that you don't understand, and you ask questions when you're in the room with the attorney. I asked all the questions. And he explained it, but it's kind of like, I guess it's like being on the job for the first time. You get trained, and within the first month, you're still kind of learning things out. Well, in our case, once you sign that contract on that first day, you may ask questions, but you still have to sign that contract or you're not going to be in the group. And once you sign, you're in it. You can't change it. So it's learning on the job, but once you've signed the contract, you're in. And you've signed for that amount. You didn't realize it was not a good contract, so it's a little too late once you sign it. But you're with the other 3 girls. You don't want to be left behind because you're asking too many questions. Again, you're a woman, you're asking too much. And after a while, they had to get rid of me because I was the only one who was asking questions.
In 2018, the trio released the album Electric Cafe, their first album in 14 years, featuring the single Rocket, which gave them their first top 10 hit in 20 years. In 2019, the group were also tapped to perform at the Grammy Awards official after-party celebration. Later on that same year, for the first time ever, all the original members, plus Bennett, came together for a one-time performance to celebrate music industry executive Sylvia Rohn at the City of Hope Gala. Today, after winning countless awards and selling over 20 million albums and counting worldwide, En Vogue is still in demand and actively touring and recording. The year 2020 marks the 30-year anniversary of their debut album, Born to Sing, and to celebrate, an extended anniversary edition of the album, including a newly remastered version of all the original tracks, plus some new mixes, is set to be released on April 3rd, the same day the original album was released in 1990.
What's next for En Vogue? I hope a lot more fun, money, and peace. If we can get some peace throughout all the chaos, I hope that's next for En Vogue.
I like the traveling part of the group because that's, I get a lot of opportunities to see a lot of cities that I wouldn't see if I wasn't in the group. So I love that part of it. And I love the entertainment part, actually being on stage in front of an audience.
I mean, that was what we had in mind, I think, in the first place. When we first started this group, if we had any kind of a vision, it was of us out in front of people performing and enjoying what we were doing and having them love our music.
Hi, I just want to take a few seconds to thank all of our fans and everybody all the DJs, all the radio stations, everybody who's supported us. Thank you so much. Thank you.
I'd like to say thank you to the fans and come see our show. It's going to be a good one.
I just want to say thank you to radio and especially all of the fans that have continued to support us and buy our records. We love you.
Thanks to all our fans. Thanks to radio for playing our music. Thanks to Atlantic Records for supporting us and being behind us. Thanks to our producers, Denny and Tommy, for just being sweethearts and our fathers in time of need, which is constantly. Thanks to David Lombard Management. Thanks to Sheila Eldridge. Thanks to Nancy at A-Vision. Thanks to everybody that helps make En Vogue what En Vogue is.